Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Shadow Gligar in the Jungle Cup. I don't know why, but Niantic forgot again to ban a Pokemon. Like, honestly, I don't have to tell you that this is not the first time when this happened, but good job, Niantic. Again, we are here and we can take a look at a Pokemon that's supposed to be banned, and for good reason. But yeah, we can still take a look and take advantage of this. I have to say, I got up to, I think, 5 points towards Expert. Like, I was like a 2,745 with this team. Of course, you can still take advantage as long as it's going to be available. We are now nearly 2 hours in. It is still available, so I would imagine that maybe they're going to fix it eventually. But right now, this was, of course, a little bit of a, advantage kinda, but also not really. Like, I didn't feel like Gligar was very overpowered. Like, if I could choose between, do I want to ban Gligar or do I want to ban a Vigoroth? I would have no doubt that I rather would ban a Vigoroth for this cup, but it is Niantic's choice at the end of the day. Still, Gligar is very solid in this meta, which you're going to see as well. It's most likely a top 5 Pokemon for sure. But I don't think it's as great as, for example, Vigoroth. The meta itself is not the best for it, also not the worst for it though, but we can easily win the first game without even showing it. The cool thing about Gligar, though, is the superior bulk towards other Pokemon. What I have to say, though, is that I also encountered quite a lot of water types, which kind of made it a little bit more tricky to play this one. But as said before already, I climbed up to 2,745 points with this, which kind of was like a climb of like 100 points in 2 sets. And so I cannot complain at all. Like, this team is still busted. There's no great replacement, I think, for Gligar, because I don't think there's another flying and ground type Pokemon other than like Landorus. But Landorus, he cannot play for the Open Great League. At least not yet, maybe when you get the Shadow variant eventually. But so it's going to be a little bit of a tricky one. Honestly, I kind of wonder now if like Shadow Landorus with Sancia Storm and Mudshot and Stone Edge would be decent in the Open Great League. I could actually see this, or like even like Superpower, like for all the Steel type Pokemon. That would be kind of funny. But here we're going to take a look at this team. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of a weakness, because the thing is, I did not plan to build a team around Gligar. I did not really want to put too much time into it either, because I don't know when it gets banned. And so I kind of went for something, just throw something together, put Vigoroth in there, it's going to be fine. I encountered a Gligar as well with a different team that also worked out pretty well, which also kind of climbed me up a lot of points, which you're going to see then tomorrow. And I encountered Gligar and was like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be banned, and apparently Niantic still screwed up. But yeah, you're gonna see here the power of Gligar. Gligar can go for an aerial ace, Gligar can get the opponent very low, Gligar can force them to go for a wild charge. They might have another wild charge stored. If they don't, it's fine. If they do, it's also fine. We would still be able to survive one with our Gligar score, and so the opponent decides to forfeit. What I can say though, for this team, which might also help you in the future when Gligar would be banned, Gliscor is a great Pokemon to use. And you see here as well that I'm using Night Slash as a charge move for some reason actually, because otherwise this team might be a little bit tricky to play for the Skarmory. What I encountered when I encountered basically Gligar against me was like a Lantern in the lead with a Water Gun, but this would make you very, very weak against those Mud Boys, I would say. And so I kind of didn't really want to go for it. But yeah, so basically this now what we are going with. Night Slash helps you out against the Skarmory. The lead is going to be a little bit better against Mud Boys, and so this team was actually kind of great. We're going to see here the Obama Snow against us, which of course against our back guy is kind of tricky, and also if you would run the Lantern in the lead, Obama Snow is going to be even worse for you. Here we're going to be able to let this move go through, hopefully going to get into my Gligar, hopefully get to an aerial ace, and I still have a move stored onto my own, the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is going to still have a body slam. Fun fact about this battle though, you're going to see it soon here as well. The area is coming through, we can try to go for the full farm down. They lag for like a little bit there as well, which at the end of the day does not really matter too much. They can go for the ice unit, drop my attack, but what you can see here as well, I should have swapped out. I should have swapped out before throwing this charge move, and I am trying to swap out now and try to go for the body slam, but I clicked on the wrong button, and so I'm going to lose this game. Would have lost anyway, but it is what it is. Still kind of found funny. Maybe I had a chance still if I swapped and got the move off, but like it's a little bit tricky to time the move timing there. You can have to wait one turn, then swap out, and then throw. But yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Here we would see the Altaria. It's going to be a Pokemon that's fairly neutral against the entire team. Super effective damage from your lead with a Rock Slide. You have neutral damage with both of the Pokemon in the bag, but Altaria is fairly bulky, so it's going to be a little bit of a trickier matchup in general. In comes here the opponent's Vigoroth. We can take a one charge move from the opponent here onto our Gligar. Easy peasy, as we can reach that dig, and this is going to get the knockout. doubt that they're gonna go 2 shields down here at this point. It doesn't make sense for them, and so this was a very safe play for me to go for the dig. Let's see what the opponent is going to swap into. Very likely the Altaria, but no, it's going to be a Steelix, and so we can try to go for the dig here. We have to be a little bit careful, because they might want to swap out into the Altaria again, and we don't want to waste our energy there, and they swap out immediately. And so we can go ahead and go for an Aerial Ace instead, and we can also swap out, because I don't really like to give away free energy here, but it's still going to be a tough one, because we don't have infinite health anymore. We have 2 Pokemon that are basically dead. We have 1 Pokemon that's around like 66% of its health, but also we only have 1 shield and the opponent has 1 shield. And so we're going to be in a tough spot, and I'm going to have to make a call here. The call is going to be to go for an Earthquake or to go for a Night Slash. Do I go for the bait? Do I go for the Earthquake? We decide to go ahead and go straight for the Boom. Was it the right choice? Stutter Leg, and boom, knock them out. They decide to no shield, and so we can win this one fairly easily. My nemesis. We're going to have here my good friend, the Skarmory. Shadow variant is a little bit easier to deal with, in my opinion, compared to the normal variant, just because you just take more damage and it's like not as bulky, which kind of helps out quite a lot. Because even at this range, it would be in dig range for our other Pokemon in the back, for our Gligar. In comes though an Altaria. I don't really like a double flying type elite or like team here from the opponent. That's not really mine. Very risky to go for a Safe Swap of Altaria in the meta where Steelix is very common, so that's definitely going to most likely not work out for too many matches for them. But we can still go ahead and go for an Aerial Ace. Right now, that at least works out for them. This is going to be able to connect, going to be able to get the full farm down. They still have a shield advantage, but we at least can align ourselves, and so we can go for trying to go for the Aerial Ace here, trying to get the shield maybe from the opponent, which definitely works out perfectly for us. Not. But they have a Dragonite in the bag. Like, honestly, their team doesn't make sense. Like, their team, like, yes, we're going to lose against the team because our team doesn't make sense either, and also, it is what it is, but basically, their entire team like, dies to 1 Steelix. Like, what do they want to do? They have a lead of Skarmory, almost resisted by Steelix, and they have 2 Dragon-type Pokemon in the back, both completely gonna die to Steelix. I don't know what they're thinking with their team, but I guess it worked out against us, so it's kind of fair. I'm not too sure. It is a silly team. I would not recommend you to try to copy what the opponent is running here. It still works for them. They're still going to knock me out here, which is going to be fine for them. But for the meta that we're currently playing, don't think it's a great team. But let's move on to the next opponent. Next one coming through. Clodsire. Going to be great for our backline. Going to be pretty bad for our lead. But we're gonna get out the Skarmory, and now we're gonna take a look at the matchup that we've all been waiting for. This is exactly why we're gonna decide to go for the Night Slash onto our Gligar, because, again, we're going to get some neutral damage here. We have the chance of a very cheeky, sneaky boost, but we don't get any of them. Honestly, I don't think that the boosting game was too crazy for Gligar. There was one game, I don't know if it's going to be in here, where I got 2 double boosts, so that's going to be great. But usually, I don't know, like, don't really know. Here I could have definitely enjoyed a boost for sure, but does it really matter? That's going to be the question here. As the opponent still has a shield, I can still try to go for a Night Slash. But do they know that I am most likely going to outspeed them? They might not, because I decide to use a shield, and so realignment is ours, and this is going to be important because the Clodsire are gonna get destroyed by our Gligar. In comes the Vigoroth, in comes our Vigoroth, and so we are going to be in a great spot as the Body Slam is going to connect here. If we get them now, that's all we kinda need, and so this is going to be amazing. We're going to be able to just let this move go through. It is going to be the Body Slam, and the counters are going to connect. They will be swapping out here most likely as soon as this is going to knock us out, and yes, they will, and so Clodsire is now going to go up against a Gligar. It's not over yet. It is not over yet because Stone Edge is still neutral. Stone Edge is still doing some decent damage, but you know what, super effective? This is going to be super effective, and it's going to do a ton of damage. Putting them perfectly into range for one Aerial Ace is enough, but we will not reach it before they can go for a Stone Edge. And so we can overfarm by a little bit, but I was not really risking it because I know that the opponent's Vigoroth is going to be insanely low already. And so we're just going to go for the full farm down, correct call, and we can move on to the next opponent. Would have been also fine if we just tried to get some more energy against the opponent's Clodsire, but we can have another try here as they're going to have the worst possible Pokemon in the back. It's going to be the Pelipper, Pokemon that I don't really expect too much in this meta. It's a little bit tricky to play. Quite a lot of Pokemon that are very decent against it, but here we can still take a Weather Ball crazy thing here is basically as well, because we have some extra energy compared to the opponent, we're just going to be able to always mirror the shield. So like if they're going to go for a shield, I can go for a shield. If I go for a shield, they go for a shield. So we're going to most likely not end up with a scenario where we're going to be far behind. But also, what is going to be great for us is that we're going to get the boost here. Look, this is exactly where we get the boost. We just die immediately afterwards and Lyric at 0. Like, not even the Faust move damage was like higher because of this. But we can go for the full farm down, and this is going to be great, as they're going to have an Altaria in the back. Thing is, I'm forced to catch. If I don't catch, I lose. If I catch, I still don't win. It's going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but as I can see here, I was able to catch, and this is going to be basically the base of trying to win. And they make a crucial mistake. Their crucial mistake is to swap out immediately, because otherwise, like, they would have done more damage with the Dragon Breath, and they would have put me into range where one Earthquake would be able to knock me out. But at this point, it is not, especially if they go for a Stone Edge. I guess Earthquake would have actually been able to knock me out, but the opponent rather goes for a Stone Edge, which doesn't make sense. But this is going to be great, as Body Slam is going to connect, and I can even go for another one. This is not going to get the knockout, but I don't even want the knockout, as the opponent went for their own charge move. I know that I can get a free fast move in here, which is exactly what I kind of want, because I need to hit 2 aerial aces against the Altaria. And as you can see here, the Altaria is going to come in here, going to have to take an aerial ace, and we can go for another one easily in time. And so, the opponent is going to go down. They still have, think of the 1 HP Clodsire there, which doesn't matter, and we can just easily win this game. Second to last team for today. I know, of course, like, the topic about trying to play with a banned Pokemon in cups is always something that kind of was a little bit tricky for the last time I did it, but I know it's going to be, of course, something which, like, oh, it's cheating, or why did you, like, it's Niantic's fault, not my fault. Like, it is what it is. It is currently allowed to be played, and here actually I think it is the double boost game, which also doesn't really help me too much here, because we're already very low. And yeah, look at this double boost, hooray! Literally doesn't really do anything other than we get to another charge move here, which is forcing a shield, which would have forced a shield no matter what. And we don't gonna get the knockout, but we also not going to be able to get a lot of energy, so maybe it even hurt us to get a double boost here, I don't know. But the Moonblast is going to connect, we can swap out, and we have to hope that our Gligar is going to be enough to knock them out. Stone Edge, still, as we saw before, does around like 40%, so I'd rather go for a shield and see what they have in the back. It's going to be their own Vigoroth, and I guess, I'm not too sure. Most likely it does around the same damage or Body Slam compared to a Stone Edge. But as you can see here, I decided to go for another Aerial Ace, and I'm not too sure if this is going to be the right call. But the opponent decides to use the shield no matter what, and this is going to be always great. So let's see, we're going to use the shield. They're going to get to another charge move now as well. But I know that there should be the Body Slam now, and I know that I should swap out here. But I was feeling like, with the extra fast move here, I should outspeed the opponent anyway. I know they won't CMP tie because Clodsire has like insane bulk, and so we win the CMP tie against the opponent, get a super effective dig off them, and this is going to put them into a farm down range for counter on my Vigoroth. And so this is going to be it for this game as well. Good game to the opponent, nothing they can do, and we can just move on to the final one for today. And Altaria in the lead. Not ideal, but also not the worst. So let's see what we can do here. We try to connect a Rock Slide, and that's going to work out pretty well for us, because this is going to be great damage. They're going to sadly use a shield, but we can try to go for another one, as the opponent makes a great call, and this is the issue for this team as well. If your lead of Vigoroth gets kinda low, it's going to be a little bit tricky against those Mud Boys, I have to say. I should not shield the first one here, because we do survive on Aqua Tail as far as I know. And I feel like it would be better to no shield like the first one at least, but it is what it is. We can still try to go ahead and go for the full farm at this point, which might be also a very interesting thing at least for us. I'm not too sure how much it's going to help us, but we will see that they're going to swap back into the Altaria, so I'm quite curious on what they're going to have in the back. We're going to be able to connect a charge move, no boost force at all, but it's going to be fine. As they're going to decide to go for the Moonblast, I decide to go ahead and go for a charge move here and try to swap out immediately afterwards into my Gligar. Because Gligar can try to get some energy here, and we just hope that there is no second Mud Boy in the back. Welcome Swampert. Swampert is a Pokemon that I kind of want to take a look at as well, because I feel like it has more play than some of the other Mud Boys in this matter. Because quite a lot of Pokemon are quite weak to Hydro Cannon and Earthquake coverage, and you just do a little bit more damage here, which I feel like in this matter might be the way to go, and so Swampert is definitely an interesting Pokemon. But this is going to be something for the future me, as the present me, the current me, is going to sadly lose against an Atari here. Still, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.